All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and go over the requirements for the AP project that you're gonna need. I want to go ahead and explain all of this stuff, the program code, well, the stuff that you need for the program code, the input-output, use of at least one list, procedure with a parameter, algorithm in the procedure with a loop, and if statement that depends on the value of the parameter. I think that one's probably the hardest one because, I don't know, everybody just gets stuck on that one. But if you get D done, then you have a really good chance of getting all the rest of them done. All right. D is usually going to be the hardest one. Okay. Good job, Jeremy. For E, okay, is going to be the call to the procedure. That one, again, we'll do it towards the end. All right. First off, I'm going to go ahead and show you this program code that makes a square, right? I'm going to try to check off first this one, which is going to be the procedure with a parameter. Carmen, a procedure. What is a procedure in Snap? It's your own what? I'm pointing up on the top of the board. Not that one. It's your own what? Jeremy said it?
Block.
Your own block. Very good.
Come on, Carmen. Good job, Jeremy.
Good job, Jeremy.
Thank you.
I'm going to give you a like.
I didn't hope it
Okay.
All right. Yes, a procedure is your own block. All right. So how do I create my own block out of my procedure? This one, well, I can just go into make a block. And I'm going to go ahead and call it, what do you want to call it?
My block.
Make block or make square?
Square.
I want to put M square.
Isn't that like a rapper? What? No, it isn't.
All right. M square. And I'm going to go ahead and put that in here. And I'm going to press OK. I'm going to go ahead and use that block right here. Click on it. There, it makes my square. Okay, so have I already taken care of the procedure?
Yeah.
Yes, but does it have a parameter?
No.
Who can tell me what a parameter is? Anybody? Santi? What's a parameter? It's a way to do what to the square?
It's a way to change an aspect of a square, like the size or the pinch.
Good. Yeah. Some people would say like modify, customize, right? Or change an aspect of it. Here, I don't have a lot of things I can actually change, except for maybe what? One thing that we've been focusing on for the
The
past.
color.
Size.
I don't even have a command for color here, so I'm gonna take away that like I gave you earlier. The size, very good. And what command here is the one that dictates what size it's gonna be? Move 100 steps, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and create a parameter. It's gonna ask me to name a parameter. What do you want to name this parameter?
Size.
Good. Usually name it something that describes the difference that you're gonna go ahead and create, right? In this case, size. I'm gonna press OK. And I'm gonna drag this size into an area that's gonna, again, change the size, which is what? Right here. Good. All right, I'm gonna press OK. And now it's asking for, it's gonna open up the little block, and now it's gonna ask for a value. I can go ahead and put 100. Maybe duplicate this, put 50 here, and I should get a 2 squares like that. Good. Have I taken care of? Have I taken care of? Yeah, that's right. What? Have I taken care of the parameter?
Yeah.
Yes. So I have C done. I'm not going to worry about B. That's not what I'm going to go over today. I'm going to worry about A at the end. But now I'm going to worry about D. Okay? All right. So now I'm going to worry about D. Algorithm in the procedure. All right. So in my block with a loop and an if statement that depends on the value of the parameter. So if I actually go here, let me go ahead and close some of these things over. So I can. Okay, whatever. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and worry about, or not worry, but go ahead and take care of A loop. Do I have a loop inside of my procedure?
Yeah.
Yes, I do have a loop inside of my procedure. All right? All right, but do I have an if statement the way that it needs and an if statement that depends on the value of the parameter? I don't have an if statement, do I? All right, so let's take care of that if statement. And here's where I ran into a problem. All right, because now I can't keep things as simple as just making a square. What can I do in order to add that if statement? Okay, well, there's a lot of things I could do, right? But for right now, just to keep things simple, I'm going to go ahead and say, you know what? I'm not going to keep it to just making a square. I'm going to go ahead and say that, you know what? I'm going to make two different shapes. If the value, because the value, the if statement must depend on the value of the parameter, right? So I'm going to go back over here, and I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, this if statement has to depend on what right now is the size, right? All right, so let's see. I know there's going to be two shapes, so I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate this, and I'm going to go ahead and put this right here. I decided that, you know what, it's not going to be a square anymore. Well, I'm going to have a square for the if right here, but else it's going to make something else. Let's say a triangle, right? Go ahead and put this to 3, and I put this to 120, just little calculations that we did. The outside angle of a triangle is 120. It's 120 for one side, right? All right, and now this isn't going to really work, right? I started thinking about, okay, what can we rename this to? Because now it's not necessarily going to be the size. Or maybe it is going to be the size. We'll see. Well, if what? This is where I started thinking, started brainstorming. All right, well, I need to have some type of user. This is where A came into play. I have to have some type of user input, right? So I'm going to say, this is where I started kind of thinking, okay, so what if the user inputs a number, and depending on what number they input, it's going to give you either a square or a rectangle? Yeah? Okay. So if what? Well, if I went to operators and I said, let's go ahead and put, not equals, let's put a greater than. And I'm going to go ahead and say if size is greater than, Jeremy says 4, okay, it's greater than 4, it's going to go ahead and repeat, do the square, else, anything else, it's going to go ahead and do the triangle. I'm going to take away these sizes right here, because now size isn't going to change the size of the shape. It's going to decide whether it makes a square or a triangle, right? My point here, guys, is you see how the program creation is starting to evolve. I'm not just saying, you know what, make a square. Now I'm kind of fixing the program so that it fits all the requirements, right? So maybe rename this. What can we rename it to? It's going to be, this parameter is going to be something that user is going to input. So what can we rename it to?
It could be like
Anything. Anything that describes the user input. So maybe
input.
input? Okay. I'm going to press OK. All right. Now do I have a if statement that depends on the value of the parameter? Yes, now I have an if statement that depends on the value of the parameter. The if statement depends on whatever value is here. Go ahead and take this one out, make sure that I have input in there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and press OK. Now I need to go ahead and do something else. That is to, how do you get a response from the user? Ask. Good, with a question and answer.
Let's go.
So I'm going to go ahead and ask something. I'm just going to put this here on the side. I'm going to move these to the side because I'm not going to use them right now. I'm going to go ahead and say ask. What's a good question to ask? Square or triangle? No.
Do you like McDonald's?
This has to be what? Let's go. I think I had it under operators. What did I make the square under? It was pen. This has to be what? A what? Okay, so this is either going to be true or false. Yes, Jerry, very good job. It's going to be a number. All right. So how about we ask it what? We want the user to enter a number. So let's put what? Enter a number between 1 and 10. I don't know. I mean, really, it could just be enter a number, right? Instructions to enter a number. Any instructions that you want, that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and do that. If you're asking a question, you're going to expect what? An answer. So I'm going to go ahead and go here. But for every answer, I need to create what? A variable. Oh, nice. Very good. I didn't think everybody was going to get that. There's already one here created. I'm going to create the same one. Make a variable. Now I'm going to call it user answer. Even though there's already one there, I'm just doing this, repeating this, doing it again. I'm going to press OK. And I need to do something. As soon as I create the variable, what do I need to do? Set the variable to what? To set user answer to what? To answer. Very good. Now I can go ahead and use the user answer. All right? Okay. I'm going to open this up. And I'm going to edit it. And when I use m square, what do you think is going to go right here in the open box? Whatever the user answer is. So that now m square takes the user answer and puts it in here and checks it right here. So if the user answer is true, which is greater than 4, it'll make the square. If it's not true, it'll make the triangle. Okay? Let's go ahead and put OK. See if it works. I'm going to clear this. Enter number between 1 and 10. If I put anything greater than 4, it should make a square, right? I think it was greater than 4. All right, makes a square. If I put in less than 4, let's say 3, it should make a triangle. Yeah. So now I do have a parameter with an if statement that depends on the parameter. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right. This is like just taking care of one. I'm press OK. And there's tons of way to do this stuff, guys. Did I take care of the algorithm in the procedure with a loop and an if statement that depends on the value of the parameter?
Yeah.
Yes. Did I take care of procedure with parameter?
Yeah.
Yes. I haven't done the list and I'm not going to do it right now. Do I have an input and an output? Yes. The user input would be what?
The question and then
Well, not the question, the answer to the question, right? Do I have a call to my procedure? Yeah, right here. Right? This is where I called it. This is where I used it. All right? And then, what else? The last thing I would probably do is go over here to controls and add some kind of trigger so that it starts the program, right? So the inputs here would be the clicking of the spacebar and the entering of the number. What would be the output? Yeah, the shape, right? The visual of the shape of it making the triangle. Any questions? No? All right, that's it for that. Yeah.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Second to region.
That was late, Jeremy.
Yeah, I know. Well, no.
Shout out to Jeremy.
Yo!